Welcome back, everybody. I am ready to take a first look at another city builder. You know that from time to time I like to take a look at some of the ones that are out and are upcoming, and this is another one that's kind of in early access. It's called Bastide. There's a few videos out about it I've seen, and you can see here right off the bat they're kind of telling you what they're going to be working on in the next week, and also what their future content. So this is a work in progress. It is not a complete game. There's a lot more to it than what we'll currently see, including upcoming with campfires, watchtowers, gates, graveyards, merchants, village laws, prisons, and a tech tree. So this game is going to look very, very different in the coming months, but let's go ahead and take a look at what it's got so far. You can see right off the bat that there is a difficulty mode and a map size. So we're going to go ahead and just leave it where it is at medium. Enemy villages is interesting because that tells me that there is combat in this game, or there will be at some point. So I took a look just for a few minutes just to get kind of an understanding of the basic mechanics of the game. You start out with a wood house with 3 people in it. You start out with a warehouse with a small amount of items. So the key right off the bat is to build additional housing, because that's how you get more people, which are going to be your workforce. So let's go ahead and build just a couple of more houses. I think we probably have enough for 2. We do. Although I've also got to think about gathering wood, I suppose. So let's look at resources. And a forester will cut down plant trees in the surrounding area. So let's go ahead and stick him, I don't know, back in here in the woods somewhere. So we'll get a forester going, and we'll speed up time a little bit. We've built our second house. Things happen pretty fast. You can see there's a clock there, and I think each day represents a month of the year. So when the day finishes up, we're on to May at that point. It looks like we're getting some rain right now. I do have the graphics turned up, I believe, as high as they will go. So let's go ahead and pause for a second. So we're going to go ahead and assign 2 people to be foresters, because I have a feeling we're going to need a lot of wood. So the quicker we start producing said wood, the better. And you'll see that there's, kind of cows roaming freely. There are these stacks of resources that we can just click on to be able to collect said resources. In order to grab a cow, what we have to do is we actually have to build a pasture. And once we build the pasture, then we can assign a worker to actually do that. I think we probably want to get a gatherer going. And let's stick them probably over in the same woods. I guess that would make sense. So we'll get a gatherer going. The gatherer will gather things like mushrooms, herbs, little things like that. Looks like the trees are getting gathered pretty quickly here, and then they have to haul them back to the warehouse. So that maybe isn't the best place to have put that, because it puts a little distance in here. But we've got a little bit of wheat. We've got some meat. We've got a little bit of leather, some cloth, some clothing, herbs, medicine, tools, swords. Swords, those are going to be helpful. We can have 3 right now. Looks like it's getting chilly. Honestly, I don't, in the back of my head, off the top of my head, know the conversion for Celsius to Fahrenheit. So I know 0 Celsius is 32 Fahrenheit. That's about it. All right, so it looks like we've got our gatherer nearly complete. There we go. So gatherer will produce herbs, cloth, berries, and mushrooms. That'll be a quick way to get some food. Probably going to want a hunter. So let's go ahead and think about that. But honestly, I think we're going to go ahead and build a 3rd house. We're into May now. So let me go ahead and build another house. Firewood, that's going to be important too once we get closer to winter. We don't have enough wood right now to build another house. So let's look at our wood situation. We have 15 firewood already. How much actual wood do we have? Why am I not seeing wood? Okay, so our wood's over at the stockpile, along with stone, bronze, and any iron that we might eventually produce. We've only got 11 wood right now, so it's going to be a bit before we get those additional folks that we were wanting to have. So right now everybody else is kind of just waiting. I guess we could probably get everybody cutting down trees for the time being. We just ordered them to work on these things. I don't know why oh, there we go. Yeah, we're just going to issue orders on these individual trees, and that'll get my laborers who aren't assigned to a specific task working on things like that. What else do we have over here? There's that cow. At some point, we're probably going to want to build a pasture because we've already got some cows sitting around. Looks like there's a pig right there. What do we got here? A goat. We're going to want some milk at some point, I guess. All right, so we're gathering wood a little faster now. Those trees went down quickly. All right, let's go ahead and plant our first farm. It looks like right now a farm is just wheat. So let's go ahead and assign at least 2 workers to that task. You can see here there's a water. The water looks nice. I will say this, the game looks pretty. You can see at a nice distance here. Let's kind of look at the angles a little bit. You can kind of see around. You can see for a nice distance. I know somewhere out there is an enemy village. So at some point we're going to have to think about walls. We're going to have to think about protection, things of that nature. Of course, I don't know what happens once our farm... Oh, we can do wheat, cabbage, and pumpkins in the farm. Let's just worry about wheat for now. And what do we got? We got 2 foresters and a gatherer in this house. We've got 2 farmers and 1 laborer. So we definitely need to think about more housing before we do much else. And I think we'll go after our hunter's hut next. Housing. Here we go. The wood houses are adequate for warmth and comfort, so that's why I want to go with those. How do we rotate? Oh, there we go. E and Q. Anti-clockwise. I like that. Anti-clockwise. There we go. All right, so I'm starting to think ahead a little bit, and of course, converting wheat into flour will be key once we're ready to harvest, and we're actually getting toward the fall here, so I also need to think about the production of things like firewood. I'm guessing we're not going to have enough to get through the winter otherwise, so I don't know, we'll put that a little closer to where we're producing our wood. And I'm also going to go ahead and give orders for additional trees to be cut down. Just because I know we've got laborers out there that can be dealing with some of that stuff. And I'm trying to think ahead to the winter. I don't know, having not gone through a winter on this game before, I don't know what to expect. So I want to be thinking about all of those things. We've still got, looks like 4 laborers available to us. So maybe let's get another person working that farm, because I feel like we started a little late on the farm. And I hope we don't run into an issue where the food doesn't make it in time. We need some more wood so we can get the mill built so we can start turning that wheat into flour. And then, of course, we'll need a bakery to turn that flour into bread. So right now, very little wood available. That's really kind of our problem right now, is that we just are really short on wood. So I'm going to go after as many of these trees over on this side as I possibly can with all my laborers. All right, looks like we're actually harvesting some of the wheat. We didn't plant the entire field, probably because we only had 2 people working it and not 3. But now we're starting to actually harvest. You can see they've been coming in and harvesting. There he goes. Beautiful. So we're producing wheat for the first time. Oh, we don't have anybody working on firewood, so we got to assign one of our laborers to that task. We're at 12 wood right now, so I don't have quite enough to make my mill yet. We need 16. All right, we're into September. The harvest continues, and now so does the building of our mill. And we'll see that rise from the ground here very shortly. They're just going through this wheat like crazy. We've already produced 22. I don't know. Again, I don't know how much that equates to over the course of the year, how much we'll actually use of that. Let's go ahead and assign some more of these trees to be felled. We are just desperate for wood right now. And I don't know how far we're going to get into this game before we start encountering the other village, and we need to think about being armed. And I don't know if we're going to lose some of this wheat if we don't get it harvested before the end of September. I guess we'll see how that all works out. All right, time to assign somebody to the mill. We're getting short on laborers, though. We've only got one laborer left, which means we desperately need more housing. Okay, so we're getting late into October now. And one of the things I did was I went ahead and placed a stockpile over here by our forester so that they're not walking all the way from way back here to deliver the wood to this stockpile. Meanwhile, here's our man hard at work doing the firewood thing, and you can set a max number for firewood. And I'm actually thinking we're going to go a little lower just because I don't want to have him using up all of my wood making the firewood. So there you go. You can see him doing his thing, chopping wood into firewood. I gotta say, one of the little things that I really appreciate on this game already is that, you know, you get to 3 in the morning and you can see the village is basically quiet. Everybody's sleeping. And then as the sun rises, they do a great job with the effect of the sunrise in the morning. And I don't know what time that'll be here in November, but I'll slow it down once it starts happening. There you go, so you can kind of really appreciate it. There we go. We'll speed it up a little faster than that. Oh, yeah, that's cool. I don't know. Just little things like that I really appreciate. Now everybody's back to work. Man, we've had a lot of rain. I don't know if it's just where I live that's super rainy. It is raining in real life here. You might even hear in the background because I'm about 10 feet away from our sump pump, and every so often you can hear the water running. But looks like even in November we're still harvesting our wheat, so that's good news. We're starting to produce a little bit of flour, but mainly what we need more than anything is another house. We don't have enough wood to do that right now. Over here on the resource list, I can get an overall look at everything. We've got 23 wood. We're starting to produce a little bit of food. I think I need a hunter as well. So I think once we build another wood house, the next stop will be hunter. Let's see. Let's put it this way again. So we'll make a hunter after that. Okay, so before we can do the hunter, we've got another problem, and that is our people are complaining about clothing, and going into the winter, that is a problem that we don't want to have. So I'm going to go ahead and place a tailor right back here. Once we finish the tailor, my next step is going to be to build a mine. Probably over here is where it'll let me do that, so we can start mining stone, because I'm having a hard time finding stone just laying around out and about, and when I do, it's pretty far away. So while we need to gather small amounts of stone, that's only going to get me so far. Alright, so now we're starting to see the winter. And the good news is we do have a tailor now. And they're able to use various items to make clothing. And our gatherer is gathering a decent amount of cloth. Not entirely sure how that works. Maybe they'll flesh that out further in the supply chain at some point, but we've got a decent amount of cloth and leather and wool with which to make clothing, so we should be set there for a little while. It's getting cold, obviously. You can see minus 4.2 degrees Celsius now, so we're just trying to ride out the winter at the moment. Well, I guess there's the answer to the question about how long before we encounter the enemy. 3 of my people were just killed in battle, and I didn't even realize it was happening. So obviously the enemy raided my village and killed some of my people. And I don't have any kind of weapons to deal with that sort of thing. So I'm hoping that isn't something that continues. I think we have a couple swords, but my people are running away now. So that was bad. That was obviously not the way we wanted things to go down. I really can't afford to be losing people like that. I hope that people come and replace them soon enough, since I have the housing for it. But we're obviously going to have to start thinking about defense right off the bat. And our happiness is down to 65% now. And that affects how quickly new settlers can join. It'll be increased with bread, alcohol, and prayer. That's quite a mix. Bread, alcohol, and prayer. All right, I think we can probably provide those things. I'm waiting for enough stone to be able to build my mine. This is a cool little touch here. It's March. Well, it's into April now, but it's been March, and it's been cold. And you can see that the river has frozen up. Not completely, but somewhat. And I like that. I love those little things that just really add to the realism in a game. So I thought that was pretty cool. We're getting into April now, so things should start to thaw out. I just need one more stone, and I'll finally be able to build this mine. I think in hindsight, I probably should have done that early on with the stone that I had instead of waiting. And now it seems like, I don't know if the people just prioritize gathering the wood or what, but it seems like whenever I give orders to gather stone, they don't necessarily get to it right away. Or maybe there just isn't much stone to be had in each of these little nodules. Maybe each one's only one or two. I don't know. I haven't paid that much attention to it to be able to tell. You can see another thing that's interesting is even though we have foresters that are producing wood and they're supposed to also be planting, I don't really see any of the beginnings of planting going on. But maybe that just takes multiple years like it would in real life for that to take place. Okay, so we've got our stone now, and now we can go ahead and build our mine. And I don't know what's going on here, if this is just a little glitch in the game or if that's just telling me this is where I can place the mine. Okay, there we go. So we've got our mine. Let's start cranking out as much. Oh, and you can actually choose. Okay. So we could crank out and mix, but right now stone is the priority. Eventually other things will be as well, especially if we're going to want to start producing weapons, which I think is probably going to need to be one of the next things. But we're going to need a blacksmith because we have no tools left. That's obviously a priority. And let's see, as far as building goes, what it's going to take to build a blacksmith. No, that's not what I want. Production, here we go. Blacksmith, we need 10 stone. So once we've gathered the requisite amount of stone from our new little mine here, we'll be able to make a blacksmith. All right, we're starting to see trees pop up now. So no sooner had I mentioned that than there are trees starting to appear in the foresters area. New problem though. Now up here at the top, near the center, you can see how many are freezing, how many have illness, how many are starving, how many are thirsty. Good news is nobody's freezing, starving, or thirsty, but we have 7 with illnesses. We also only have 1 food right now. So those 2 things are going to have to take priority, I guess, even over the blacksmith. Though I think, did I build the blacksmith? No, I built a tailor and I built another house so we could get some more laborers. Or I'm building another house. They haven't actually started building it yet. We've got to get, let's look at our gatherer. We can only do 1. So we've got to work on that. So let's look at hunters. There'll also be pastures that we can make, and of course we need a bakery. I don't have enough wood right now for the hunter's hut or the bakery, but those are 2 priorities I think that are going to have to be next. All right, our hunter's hut is going up. That's going to help us with food because we are barely staying ahead of the curve as far as food goes. That's something that's got to change. We are harvesting once again. And I think I need to get another person working in the mill because it seems like we're not producing that flour fast enough. Now we can tell, we don't actually have any additional workers here. We can tell them what specifically they can hunt, and I'm just going to tell them go ahead and hunt anything right now. But we're definitely behind on workers. So we also still have 7 people that are ill. So I've got multiple things that I have demand for right now. Obviously, one of them is more workers, which means another house. And we do have the materials for that. Let's get another house going. Then we're going to need that blacksmith to make more tools. We're going to need some way of dealing with our illnesses. I have switched my miners over to working on iron. So now we've got a little bit of an iron supply. So now I'm going to switch them back to stone again. Because we've been using that stone. We're down to just 4 again. Okay, so I think we found the enemy village because one of my people just got killed again, and so I started looking in the direction. Oh, a bunch of them just got killed. Oh boy. All right, that's got to be a priority because we're losing people fast. And you can see this bridge. They built a bridge, and so I thought, okay, if they build a bridge to get at me, that means they've got to be over here somewhere. And there I found them. There's not much to this village, but they are a thorn in my side right now, so we're going to have to go deal with them. All right, time for our blacksmith to start going up. And that's happening right here. Nice thing is we've got some laborers now, so that's happening faster. So we're going to add some orders. We're going to order a sword. Is that armor? Oh, that's kind of cool. I guess they'll probably make tools automatically. I guess probably how that works. Okay, next up is going to be our bakery, and it looks like we have all of our resources for that. So that's going to help with the food. I feel like between all of those things, between the hunter, between the gatherer, and the bakery, we should at least be stable on the food front. Next, we've got to think about protection and dealing with illness. So I want to take a look real quick because we're into November now. Let's take a look and see exactly what it is that we can do to help with illnesses right now. The healer's hut. So as soon as I get one more piece of stone, we can build that healer's hut. And we'll have to make that a priority because we have 10 people that are ill now. There we go. All right, healer's hut on the way. Let's go ahead and assign somebody to be a baker. I don't know how many people we have free at the moment because we're maxed out at 18. Oh, it looks like we've actually still got 5 laborers. So we've got plenty of available workers right now. In fact, we could probably assign a few of those folks to other tasks. But there we go. We've got a healer's hut. And we've got a healer. Let's go ahead and get another mine going. Or another miner going. And I think the next thing then can be protection. Okay, so great news. We're able to build a barracks finally. And we're going to place it right here. Then hopefully we're able to actually decide where we station the soldiers, because I think I probably just need to station them right here. I might even build myself a wall around this so they can't cross that bridge anymore. I don't know if there's another way they'll be able to get across, but that's what I'm thinking. Since we don't have watchtowers available just yet, that'll be something that'll come down the road in this game. So here's our barracks. We can have up to 5 soldiers. Recruitment needs both a sword and armor, which we have built at least enough for a couple of those, and it looks like they're gone. So that gives us at least 2 soldiers. I think we're going to want more than that. But right now I really need tools. So we'll let that blacksmith work on tools for the time being. It looks like we're going to need some bronze. So for the time being, let's work on gathering bronze for a little bit. We've got some stone gathered up. We've got some iron. We have no food to speak of. So I guess the next thing we're going to have to do is build ourselves. We've got a bakery. Oh, a fisherman's hut. Perfect. Not much to a fisherman's hut. So let's build a couple of those, because wood's something I actually have a lot of for the time being. Let's build a pasture so we can go start gathering some livestock. This particular pasture has trees in it, so I guess we'll have to probably cut those down, even though they're small. Let's assign a worker to that. We've got a capacity of 10. And I think we'll go try to gather some cows. There he is, my first fisherman. We just had, my soldiers were all killed in battle. I had 3 of them and they all died. So it's going to be a challenge figuring out the whole system with the soldiers and how we make that work. I guess we're going to have to build a wall. And I really can't afford the wood for that right now. So we're going to have to start gathering a bunch of wood over in this side. And we're just going to have to build a wall. Doesn't seem like there's an easy way to build a wall around this bridge. I'd love to just tear down the bridge if there was a way to attack the bridge so that he can't do that. But in the meantime, I guess we got to figure out a way to wall maybe from here over. Is probably going to be the easiest way to do this, because all my people keep getting killed over here in this area. So let's look at what that's going to be like. Wood wall, here we go. Well, I thought I had a wood wall going. There we go. All right, so we'll go to wherever it's going to have to be. Looks like that's about as far as we can go with it. And you can't actually like just drag. You actually have to place each section. And each section costs 2 wood, it looks like. So that's going to get expensive. But that's kind of what we need to do right now, I think. It's going to probably cost me 60 wood to build this thing all the way. And that's going to be a lot of wood for me. Okay, no! Oh, geez. Okay. So we have to actually press the build button to finish it. So I don't have quite enough wood to finish the whole thing, so we're just going to build what we can for now. And then we'll finish it up. And at the very least, hopefully I can maybe place my soldiers down here and put them into a choke point. And that's the only place that they'll be able to attack me. Oh, somebody else die over here? Or, oh man, yeah, people are dying. And I don't see why. Unless those were actually the enemy that I was hitting? I don't know. Looking at these guys, it looks like a couple of them have kills. One of them has a kill. So at least one of them has killed somebody. Kind of cool, the wall. I mean, it actually, not only is a wall, it's also got a little protective nature to the wall at the base there. That's kind of cool. All right, so we're capturing our first cow to take back to our pasture. And anytime I see a cow, I just need to designate them to be captured. So I'm looking around out here in the wild to see where else I might find one. There's one there. So I'm just looking around trying to find any cattle that might be roaming freely about that might become part of my herd. So there's another one here. And then we're going to keep working on this wall. We've got 22 wood now after all of this has been completed. So that'll be the next step. Hopefully that'll offer some protection. So for the first time, we're going to build a stone house. Since wood is kind of a commodity right now that I'm going to need elsewhere. We have 14 people that are freezing. I wonder why that's happening. Are we not producing enough firewood? Is it clothing? Oh, it's clothing that's the issue. Where's my tailor? I'm going to need to recruit another tailor. We're not producing clothing fast enough. Looking at the resource list, oh, we're out of cloth. We only have 1 leather and 1 wool. So we need to get on our gatherer to start finding some more cloth out there. Hey, look, another cow. Maybe if we slaughter some of these cattle, we're actually producing meat already. If we do that, maybe we can produce some leather. I don't know. So our pasture's full now, which means we're starting to produce a nice amount of meat, milk, and of course leather. So that's going to help with making clothing, which has been a real ongoing source of problems for me. We still have very little leather and cloth. We're just not producing enough of it to keep up with the demand that we have right now with 24 people in our village. So clothing's definitely an issue. It seems like we're pretty well stocked up on our recruitment now. I couldn't quite close the wall. It required me to leave somewhere for it to be open, and people can walk right around it. So until I'm able to build watchtowers on the spots that can be crossed, I'm not sure the walls do a whole lot of good at this point in the game. Now, beyond what I've already built, let's just take a look at a few other things here that are available. And let's go ahead and recruit a couple of soldiers. I've only got 2 available at the moment. Production-wise, we haven't built a brewery yet. We haven't made a church yet. I think that's under miscellaneous. Church and the tavern. And then everything else I've pretty well built. So there's not a whole lot else to show you at the moment. But like I said, this is a game that's far from being done. And so there's a lot more to come. And like any of these games that are in early access, I will revisit from time to time and show you the progress that's being made. It's not really at the place where I can do a full series on it yet, just because there's just not enough content there yet. But it's promising, and there's a lot here. And there will be a lot here once it's completely done. So for now, that's all we have to look at. If you have any thoughts, any questions, any comments on this game, it's called Bastide. I'll put a link to the Steam page in it for you. Let me know in the comment section below. Drop a like if you would, and I appreciate that, and we will see you again soon. Thanks for watching.